Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Noctway again. I'm going to do a quick screencast here to just go over the syllabus and the grade contract, which are sort of the two central documents that are going to control the class. And this is set up based on the template. You're probably all familiar with syllabi that look like this, so I'm not going to belabor a lot of these points. You've got the contact information up top there, including my Discord username. We've got the core texts and then the supporting texts, and I talked about some of these in the first video. Um, just wanted to highlight that again, and these are all linked to, by the way, on the syllabus. So you should be able to, the books you have to either buy or acquire, by the way, doesn't mean steal. That means many of them you should be able to check out from a library if you needed to. But certainly they're as I mentioned in an earlier email, they're affordable, available online very affordably. But otherwise, everything else is free, full text online, and that includes all of these supporting articles. Just to reinforce this again, these are required readings for graduate students enrolled in the ENG 730 section of the course. Undergrads do not have to read these, but you are not restricted from reading them either. So, I mean, certainly if any of you see an article that catches your eye, I encourage you to give it a shot. You can look at the student learning outcomes on your own time. Um, the assignment structure, I'll say a little bit more about this um, as we get into the grade contract. But basically, all of the assignments are either informal assignments or formal assignments. And informal assignments means that you just submit it and get it done. And formal assignments are ones that we're going to talk about in the final week of the session when we actually kind of go over your grade for the class. Bearing in mind again that the entire class is very much rigged for all of you to succeed, which is something that as we get into individual formal assignments, you will see very quickly that it should be possible for you to complete those very successfully, and make the case that you're doing a good job on those. So yeah, I'm not going to run here through each individual assignment, except to say that in the first week, we're primarily going to be doing the Discord posts and the video guide comments. Um, and then you will set up, I should really have website here instead of blog, but you're going to set up your own website and send me the link to that by the end of the first week. And so that's kind of what we're looking at for the first week of classes. Communications, I just wanted to say a word about this, because as an asynchronous online class, you can expect to be on your computer a lot. I mean, hopefully that's not news to anybody, but um, our primary form of communication will be through Discord, and it will be asynchronous. So, I mean, and the advantage of that, of course, is that you can hop on Discord, respond to other people's comments, post your own comments, whenever you have time to do so, and within the structure, the schedule structure of the class, which I'll talk about shortly. Discord is absolutely the best way of really communicating at everything. As you'll see, well, I think I can jump over to it right now. Let me get here is what and I may set up additional threads, is what the term for these are, on our course website. But we've got general, we've got one for reading responses and one for graduate reading responses. If you want to throw stuff on the general, if questions about assignments come up, you have questions about a reading, the general thread of our Discord page is absolutely the best place to put those, because if one person has a question, usually multiple people do, and it just saves a lot of time. If you email me personally with a question, and I realize it might be of overall interest, then I have to turn around and send that message back to the entire class. But if we have the conversation on Discord, everybody can see it and everybody's questions get answered right away. So that's a really powerful tool that we have at our disposal. Email is always available. If you have anything that you feel is private or confidential that you don't want to share with other people in Discord, I would recommend doing that. You can always direct message me over Discord, and I mean that's fairly confidential, but the safest thing to do if it's something really important that you want to talk about is send me an email, and I'll certainly be checking that multiple times a day. The other thing too is that submissions, um, almost all of your work this semester, this session, is going to be submitted through Blackboard, and but problems arise with Blackboard, as some of you know, and I want to reiterate this here. I will always accept submitted work over email in addition to Blackboard. I prefer Blackboard very much. And if you can submit it over Blackboard, I strongly encourage you to do so. But if problems arise, always feel comfortable sending it to me over email, and getting it in on time is the important thing, as we're going to be talking about shortly. Finally, of course, voice and even face to face via Zoom are the most immediate forms of communication. And if something like really complex comes up, that's where, send me a direct message or send me an email. With a couple of times availabilities that you have, and we can talk. You can actually call me, which I don't have. It's worth noting, my phone number, let me scroll up here, is up on top. This is my office number. I don't actually have a phone anymore. My phone is my computer, so if my computer is not open when you call, and it uses Microsoft Teams, I actually prefer using the Discord voice channels, believe it or not. So we could do a voice chat over Discord, or we could have my Zoom account is also listed on here. We can always do a face to face that way. And that's not required until the last week of the class. I would like to meet face to face on Zoom with all of you as we talk about your grade for the class. That's the only time this semester that I'm going to require people to actually be face to face with me. And my plan right now is that we will never have a moment where, as a class, we are going to meet synchronously on Zoom, just because that's not how this class is set up. But there will be some opportunity for group and collaborative work later on, but that comes in some of the later assignments. Just to run through this quickly, now our first week, usually I'm going to go to week 2 first, because of the Independence Day holiday screws everything up. Your first work is, all of the readings are up now, so you can see what you have to do. The first work is going to be due on Tuesday. I will put a prompt up on Discord on Monday, but you don't even have to wait for the prompt. You can post a response to the reading for that week. So for example, on July 11th, Tuesday the 11th, by midnight, I don't want to skip over this. All assignments due by 11:59. So by 11:59 on Tuesday the 11th, you have to put up one response to uh, Fritz Lieber's Swords Against Death, and it can be in response to the prompt that I put on Discord, or it can be whatever you want to talk about. And that's a whole other separate assignment that I'm gonna put an explainer video up about. But basically, so you're going to put, and it's a 2 sentence response, minimum 2 sentence response. It's really easy, but you got to get it in on time. And then the grads and everybody in the class does that response. And then grad students are going to be responding to the Michelle Nephew and Tracy Worthington articles. And this is in week 2. I don't mean to confuse people, but this is usually how things are going to go. Is you have a Tuesday response for everybody in the class, a Wednesday response for graduate students. Thursday, you've got another. I'm sorry, Thursday, you're going to submit your reading journal, but I'm not going to get into that right now. And then Friday is when the second Discord response is due. And that's also when you're going to upload a screenshot of your Discord responses. And again, I'll talk more about that in the assignment itself for the informal responses. But I just wanted to give you some sense for the overall flow of each week. The first week is going to be compressed because of the 4th of the weekend, so of the holiday, and so your first Discord response is going to be due on Wednesday, and then grad responses on Thursday, and you can kind of see how that gets compressed further on down the line. Um, Okay, I just want to jump over quickly to the grade contract. Many of you in this class have worked with me before. You've done a grade contract course. Basically, the idea here is that I do not give you grades in this class. You earn them. It's that we will collectively, you and I together, will figure out the level of work that you've done. And this is all based on the idea of informal and formal assignments. So you have a number of informal assignments. Each one of those Discord posts, for example, is an informal assignment. And if you miss too many of those, that begins to drop your grade down, right? So you can only miss two and still get an A, which of course is what, so you really, it rewards people basically for staying on top of those informal assignments. And that, so you just do the work. This is not a question of whether or not you're doing you're telling me what you think that I want to hear, or if your writing is up to snuff, or if you're not using commas the right way. I don't want you worrying about any of that. For the informal assignments, I want you getting your ideas about the readings up on Discord. I want you watching the YouTube guides that I put up, and then for the actual formal assignments, which again we will get into as each one comes up, we have these assessment criteria. And what you want to do, and in each of the guides, I mean the actual Google Docs that talks about the formal assignments, it lays out how the assessment criteria apply to each assignment. And so you should have those in mind as you are working on each formal assignment. So you have these 8 assessment criteria. Those of you who have had me before will note that this has gotten bigger. And that's both because of the online nature of the class, and because I've been wanting to revise this for a while. And so what you want to do is look at those assignment guidelines, and as you're doing the assignment, I mean, don't save this to the end. As you're doing the assignment, think about the ways in which it reflects strengths in each of these criteria. That's how this works. And so for a B, for each assignment, you need at least 2 of these criteria to be applicable, and then an A is 3 or more. And you can see now why I was saying that the class is rigged in your favor. So you have less than half of the available criteria need to apply to each assignment in order for you to be considered to be doing A work. And this is what we're going to basically, most of the final week of the session is going to be given over to us discussing how your work throughout the semester reflects each of these assessment criteria. And this is, again, this is, it's going to start with you. I mean, I want to hear from you why you think you've done A or B level work, or whatever. I mean, note, by the way, I should have started out with this, that the way that the other way that this is rigged in your favor is that if you simply submit every bit of work that I'm asking you to do for this session, you get a C. I mean, there's just no questions asked. If you do everything that I'm asking of you, then you get a C. And my assumption is that most of you want to grade this higher than that, and that's where basically it's a contract. You negotiate. You make the case that in fact the work that you've done fulfills each of these assessment criteria. And that's only for the formal assignments. For the informal assignments, those are basically credit, no credit. And those you just make sure that you submit on time. I think I'm going to stop there. And as all, drop your comments into the comment section below, because that's how you're going to get credit for watching this video. And I will be back soon with another explainer video about informal assignments and about making your own website.